Tide Talk Web is back. I dug up some more stuff on El Senor Kevin Steele. Bama Insider had the story, and they did more of the digging. I read through it several times. It's some interesting stuff to think about. And it brings a little bit more warm and fuzzy than my initial reaction. You have to excuse me in this video. I'm going to be looking down a little bit at my stats. There's a lot to read over. When Kevin Steele, for the 5 straight seasons he was at Fairburn, the whole time he only coached 7 players that were in the top 100 of the best defensive players in the country. Only 7. When he was at Clemson for 3 years, he only coached the same 7 guys who were in the top 100 of the defensive players. So pretty much no people. Had a pretty good defense. When he was at LSU, he coached 11 out of the top 100 defensive players. Now, Bama, when he comes to Alabama this year, there's no excuses. He's going to coach 36 of the top 100 defensive players in America. Probably one of the best groups we've ever had. You know, we'll be figuring out some things like some defensive ends and certain things like that. Now, honestly, I don't have a problem giving him leeway for 2 years to get his system in there, to get a few more guys in there. We know he's a really great recruiter because, you know, he was there for 2 years with Nick Saban, and he got a lot of those guys that built the dynasty and won back-to-back championships. We do know that. Like I said, my only concern is if he was so great, why didn't we hire him 16 years ago? Because we passed him up quite a few times. But I digress. We're trying to look at good things here. Like I said, as he's going to be doing this, we know that Pruitt is going to be running the show. Like I said, that Stephen M. Smith at Touchdown Alabama kind of brought out the story. So I reached out. I do have a connection down at the University of Alabama who's in with the coaches and who's in with some high money boosters. And they also know some current players. They did absolutely confirm what Stephen M. Smith said about, you know, they can't really hire Pruitt right now because the NCAA is still dragging their feet and we don't want to incur any penalties or anything like that. You get the hammer dropped on us, which makes total sense. But Nick Saban doesn't spend 2 days with a guy, 48 hours with a guy, just to kind of shoot the breeze, eat some greasy hamburgers, and go play golf. He doesn't do that. Every minute of his day is detailed and categorized and logged. It is not to hang out with a friend or anything like that. Yes, him and Pruitt are friends, but that wasn't what that's about. Like I said, Stephen M. Smith said it. My contacts at Alabama said it. That absolutely Pruitt's running the show. He's going to get hired on as an analyst. He's going to game plan. He's going to do all of the play calling. He's going to be, scouting the other teams out. He's going to be getting the game plan together for the opposing opponent and running that in practice. But he will not be on the sidelines or in the booth, essentially. But he will be making those calls. He will be doing that. Saban said, well, what can I do to make you come and do that? And he said, well, Pruitt said, I want my guy, a guy that I can trust, a yes man that will do exactly what I say and implement it, but who will also give some input and that, you know, knows how do we run these old school defenses. And Saban said, okay, well, pretty much who do you want? And he said, I trust Kevin Steele. And it makes sense that he's coming down to 9 years in the teacher retirement system in the state of Alabama. He's 64, so get him 1 more year and then do that. Now, I don't have an issue with hiring him. Defense does pretty well. The NCAA says, we're dumb, and all these other coaches that are out there we've let go back to coaching and do all this other stuff. We're paying players, and it's legal now, and it's a free-for-all, so just go ahead and live your life. If that happens, I can see Kevin Steele stepping down and letting Pruitt take over. We do know the bright spot and silver lining, Pruitt is a great recruiter. We do know that. So I do think Pruitt will do a good bit of recruiting that Steele will do a good bit of recruiting why Pruitt is getting game plans together and all that stuff. Now, let's go back a little bit. When he was at D.C. In 2009, he was 25th in the nation. In 2010, he was 13th in the nation. In 2011, he was the 81st favorite defense in the nation. You know, there were some issues that year and some talent issues and stuff at Clemson going into that season. Like I said, but when he went to LSU, he had a lot of great players. There was some small dumpster fires going on there. he had number 36 defense in the country. But let's break it down when he was at Auburn, right? Or Felburn, as I like to call him. He had pretty much top 10 defenses, and when he was there, he had the number 7, the number 12, the number 14th, and the number 17th defense in the country the years he was there. So, and while the whole time he was there, he only coached 7 top 10 defensive players in the country, 7. And that's not even a full defensive squad. So, and they probably weren't all there at the same time. If I'm guessing, if I'm wrong, please somebody say something. So that's pretty darn good. And let's be honest. You know, he one time he beat Bama twice during that tenure. And one of the years we had Jalen Hurts. He kept Jalen Hurts in that one Iron Bowl. He kept him to, and don't quote me on this, but I remember it was super low. It was embarrassing. It was like 60 yards rushing. And like I wanted to say like another 40 to 50 yards passing. And that says a lot. We had a lot of weapons at that time. We had a lot of NFL first-round draft pick receivers. We had some running backs at that time too. We won championships at that time. That's saying a lot, having a pretty much empty cover. So that is the silver lining that we're going with here. Like I said, so that is some good things to know. Like I said, now going back to the offensive hire in Reese, you know, I was trying to dig up some better stuff on him. I couldn't really dig up a lot more stuff. Jury's still out on that guy. Like I said, we need to, let's be fair. We need to give them 2 to 2.5 years to really see what they're going to do and see if they can improve. And seeing Reese's past and what he's done in offenses with nothing, if you can't make it at Bama and you can't make it happen with this recruiting class and these kids and keep them there and keep them out of the portal, maybe you're not the guy. But there's no excuse not to be putting up some numbers. There's no excuse not to be running downhill. We got that Kentucky offensive line coach who's did wonders in Kentucky with less. So with this new crop of gun guys in there, we're going to be young. So don't expect miracles this coming year. Don't expect playoffs. I do expect to be at least in the hunt. Maybe not win it, but the hunt for the SEC West. So let's just keep our heads up, keep going, and you know, let's try to block out the negative. We all know what the negative is. We all know what that is. You know I came in here and kind of hit the ground running with, you know, asking if Saban had hired Jim Leahy, the Sunnyvale Trailer Park supervisor, to do some of the hiring. But let's try to just trust the coach and trust the process and see what happens. And, you know, if it goes south in 2 years, then we can say, well, we told you so. But, you know, let's just see how it goes first. And let's just trust these guys and trust the process and trust that all the stuff that Stephen M. Smith's contacts telling him, the contacts that I have down at Tuscaloosa are telling me. And, you know, better days are ahead, fam. Anyway, have a great day and roll Tide.